trials, I'll never rest if I don't chase your heart. Sometimes the path it may take. Hey everyone, it is Tuesday and I am back. It is so good to be back with you today. I had the opportunity to take a little respite, and during that time I took a real vacation, which was really nice, and a little weird. Only because I was gonna go out of town and had to cancel those plans because of COVID-19. And in canceling them, I had a staycation. And the weird thing about a staycation was normally I would love that, but we've been staying at home an awful lot, all the time actually, for the past few months. So I had to get really creative about the time that I had at home. But the best thing, let me tell you, was unplugging from everything. I was on social media, but very rarely. And I will tell you, that in and of itself was huge, because social media lately is a beast. And some of you are contributing to that, be honest, but that's what you like to do. And that's just not for me. I go on social media really to connect with family and friends and, see positive things. So I unplugged from everything. I closed my computer that first day of my vacation and didn't open it back up until the end of my vacation. And I made a pact with friends who I got to catch up with at a safe social distance. And we had just a really good time. And so I enjoyed a lot of my time doing things that I normally wouldn't do. So it was nice. And also Shane is back, and I want to talk about Shane's video for a minute. He is having a snack cake challenge, and I am throwing down the gauntlet again on Shane. This time over the whoopie pie, the quintessential best snack cake ever. He's doing Little Debbie cakes. I don't even remember Little Debbie cakes from when I was a kid. We ate Hostess cakes, and they're wimpy compared to the whoopie pie. If you know what a real New England whoopie pie is, with the chocolatey, cakey goodness and the cream filling in the middle that's made with fluff, you'll know that that is the winner. I declare the winner already. So Shane, the gauntlet has been thrown down. You already know the winner. You can fill out your little Sweet 16 form and put the winner in the middle already, just so you know. Shane also had a great message about blessings and not taking them for granted. So if you haven't seen Shane's video yet, take the time to watch it. It's great. And on my last video, I was supposed to have a special guest, but schedules got crazy and I didn't get to do the interview. And this week I am keeping my promise, and I have an interview with a special guest. That special guest is Pastor Danny. And I thought that it would be neat to get to know him on a little different level, because when he first got here, it was Christmas, and Christmas is busy. And then there was just, 2 months after that, and then COVID hit. And all we really see of him is him in the pulpit on Sunday as the preacher. And then, behind the scenes, it's hard for us to get to know each other during this time. So without further ado, here's my interview with Pastor Danny.
It is Tuesday again, and like I promised last time, I am back, and I have a special guest, and that is Pastor Danny. And
hello.
We tried to get this interview together last time, but as it is in ministry, it is crazy, and our schedules just didn't allow it. So welcome, Danny. I am glad to have you here with us.
Thank you, Katie. Great to be here.
And I thought we would start off with a few questions for you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I guess.
So if we were to go to your house right now and do what we do in my family, because it has become a tradition in my family, we say hi, and then we go straight to the refrigerator. I don't know why that happens. I really don't know why that happens, but it's tradition. If we were to go straight to your refrigerator and open your refrigerator, what would we find in your refrigerator?
Wow. Well, gee, some leftover pork tenderloin that I grilled last night. Um, hmm, some iced tea. Probably the strangest thing that you might think would be sort of a half-used can of pumpkin. And that's because I put a little scoop of pumpkin in my dog's food every time I feed her, because that makes her wolf it down right then. So it gets it over with.
All right. When you get to heaven, what do you think the first thing God is going to say to you?
How'd you get past the gate?
Yeah, I think you might say that to me too. What are you doing here?
Oh, wow. He'd go, seriously? Oh, gosh. You know, there's I'll tell you what I would hope he would say, and it actually takes this line of scripture out of context, but I think it works. Well done, good and faithful servant.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, one last question, and then I'll get to some more serious ones.
Okay.
So on Shane came back from his kind of break from his Thursday hangout, and he is doing a kind of sweet, no pun intended, 16 bracket kind of with snack cakes. And right now the zebra cake is in the lead. He just started, which I don't understand at all. But what is I know.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't, you don't need to.
Okay.
What is your favorite snack cake?
Favorite snack cake? I have never been a snack cake person, but, and so I guess you're talking about things like Little Debbie.
Yeah.
Well, I've never been a snack cake person, but being from the South, have you ever heard of what a moon pie is?
Not until I moved down here, but
Right.
I now am familiar.
I haven't had one in many years, but growing up, I would have a moon pie.
Okay.
So
right.
I guess that's my favorite.
Well, we'll have to hope that maybe he puts those in there. I guess he's on Little Debbie. He's on a Little Debbie's roll right now.
I'm just wondering if can you find them still? You probably can.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I had never seen one until I moved down here. So
okay.
So yesterday in your sermon at the beginning, you referenced how we are in the second wave. And like you said, I think everybody thought, oh, he's talking about COVID already.
Right.
But you were referencing Hamilton. So
Yes.
Are you a Hamilton fan? Are you a Ham fan?
I am. I am a Ham fan. Was invited by some folks to go see it when it came to Charlotte. So I got a chance to see it, and was hooked then. But now that it is, now that we can watch it on TV, yeah, big fan.
Yeah, me too. And there are a lot of spiritual references in Hamilton. Lin-Manuel's writing of it has given us a lot of spiritual references. You know, George Washington in his song One Last Time, he quotes Micah 4:4. He says, how can he quotes Micah 4:4, and I was wondering from you how you think that the church can intersect and have conversations about that movie. How can we take something that's so relevant right now and begin to have conversations? Because I think there's lots of relevant issues. Lin-Manuel said it was really important for him to have spiritual influences at the forefront because Hamilton, for the percentage of his life, had faith be at the forefront until one period of time where he and God kind of fell out of a relationship. But I was wondering how we could use Hamilton as a relevant conversation today in the church.
Well, I think that it is always helpful and sometimes powerful to take modern pop culture references or societal references and talk about them in the church, because at the end of the day, everything we do is still touched by faith, touched by God, has an opportunity to be a mechanism for faith-based conversations. And so, and I've done it in the past with things like music, using the music of the group U2 or Van Morrison or some others who have some pretty deep meaning. So I think with Hamilton, first of all, the point I made in my sermon yesterday, that idea that we can talk about history then using language today, I think is fascinating. And one of the things I've done in preaching before, I haven't done it lately, but is to literally take a scripture, a parable, a story, and literally retell it as if it was happening today. And so it gives us a good model for doing things like that. I think we also could do things like research some of the biblical references and literally have a quote unquote Bible study on it. I took a course in seminary on film, using film in Christian education, and that being not Christian movies, but literally any movie, like the movie Crash or the movie The Mission. There's just so many of them. And so I think you can do something very similar with that. And like all sorts of hero stories like this, like a Star Wars, like anything else, you can often literally assign the characters certain biblical characters and talk about it from more of an epic standpoint. The God figure, the Christ figure, the satanic figure, the Jezebel, all of those things.
What is the kind of most, I don't want to say shocking, but what's the most encouraging thing that you have seen happen in the church, in the community, maybe in your own home, that has happened during this time?
Wow. Well, I guess certainly, I guess it's just very encouraging at how we've adapted. I mean, you remember our first Sunday when we tried to do that distancing thing at church and recorded it, and oh my God. So, so I'm really excited that we as a congregation, who was probably a little behind in our technology, were able to figure that out quickly enough to really put some meaningful content out. I guess the other, especially as it relates to PPC, is how incredibly well I feel like the deacons have stepped up and fulfilled their deacon role. And I know it's tough being a deacon sometimes because it's hard to, you got a role on paper, but in real life, it's hard to carry it out necessarily. But this was a definite, call to ministry for the diaconate, and the way that they have reached out, stayed in touch, formed focus groups to stay in touch with the people that need more constant contact, letting us know of situations that they find out about. That's been very encouraging.
Yeah,
And
I
I
think
guess
so too.
the other thing is just working mostly from home. Scotty and I have been able to figure that out because she is as well. And we were very fortunate to have downsized a couple of years ago and moved into a townhouse that has an upstairs and a downstairs, which we didn't have before. were we in our old house that we lived in for 27 years, we may have committed murder by now. But instead, we've got this great thing. And so it's been kind of neat that, we can connect once or twice during the day. And it just, it's been neat to figure that out ourselves.
Imagine. Well, I have one last question for you. And I know that I've had moments of incredible joy in ministry. And I was wondering, what is, or do you have a favorite memory thus far in your journey in ministry?
Wow. One favorite memory. Oh, boy. It's funny. I can't believe this just popped into my head, but it did. So I'm going to go ahead and say it. So, 4 or so years ago, I guess, my daughter Simmons, my oldest daughter's very best friend, was from Richmond, Virginia. She now lives down in Charleston with her husband, but she was engaged to be married. And during the period of engagement, her father passed away unexpectedly. And she is practically a member of our family. She is will be my daughter's closest friend ever. They invited me not only to officiate their wedding ceremony, but to walk her down the aisle.
Oh, wow.
And so I literally walked her down the aisle and then turned and took my place. So that was a really cool thing.
That's special.
Cool thing to do. Yeah.
That's special. I love that. Yeah. Well, thank you for spending some time with me today. And we finally got to do it now that we have matching schedules. Thank you.
Well, thank you for keeping all of this up. There's been great content that we put out there through not only these videos, but the other things that happen on Sunday morning. So thank you.
Yeah, the Kingdom Kids stuff is amazing. The children's sermons and all of that. It's been an interesting time. We never thought we would be doing this, but it's been fun and a learning curve. And I hope we keep doing new and exciting things. Other churches are doing some amazing stuff too, and I think we're all gleaning from that. So thank you so much for being with me today.
Okay. Bye.
All right. I'll see you later.
I hope you all enjoyed that time that I got to spend with Pastor Danny, and now you got to spend with Pastor Danny. And who knew dogs like pumpkin? You'll learn something new every day. Anyway, until next week, my friends, be kind to yourself and gentle with each other, and know how very much you are loved. I'll see you all next week.